Hey, what do you have in your hand?
Money
What's it for?
to buy a campo.
So we talked a little bit in our last video about just the decision to make this major life change. We're going to do it.
Yeah, well, we're going to do it. You quit your job already.
I quit my job. We have to do it. So we haven't really talked about what's the plan. So our goal is to find a piece of land and build a life on that land that can sustain us and
animals, food,
everything, as much as we can. Solar, water, figuring out everything we need to survive on that land. So the goal, of course, is to make as little as we can and live as much as we can off of the property.
Right.
So,
and be together in the process, working together.
Be together.
Playing together, just building that legacy that we keep talking about, that deep roots in each other's hearts, and growing the kids up to be part of something bigger than themselves and then us, but not necessarily working for somebody else, working for yourself. That's kind of our goal, right?
That would be great. I'd love to work for ourselves. I'd love to build a piece of land that would sustain us, and that's going to take a lot of work. But we got to find the land first. And Colorado?
It's just too expensive.
Just too expensive.
It really is. I mean, I would love to stay in Colorado, but we just can't afford anything here.
Too much. It just costs too much. We are looking at other states besides Colorado, and we really can't do that from a computer. You can do a lot from a computer.
I've looked on Zillow and land.com and United Realty or something like that, United Country, and there's some great properties out there. But how do I really know what they look like from 3 pictures? And how do I know what the climate's like, and if the soil is good enough to grow things, if there's a good mixture of pasture and trees? Those are things we can't know from looking on a computer, right? So we need to go see it. And of course, every time we find a property, we could fly to another state, right? We want another state. The other thing is we don't have a lot of experience in other states. We don't really know what the climate's like, with the cities, the country, like
how does it feel?
How does it feel there?
What are the communities like? Mm-hmm. So we're going to travel. We're going to travel to these different places in person, and in order to do that, we bought a camper, a big camper trailer, and we plan to travel for maybe up to a year to find that piece of land. It's not the kind of decision you want to rush into.
No.
It doesn't make sense to buy land on the internet.
No.
I feel like if you buy a house, you can kind of learn everything you need to know about the house and the neighborhood and the town.
The
and the city.
inspection will tell you that.
All that.
Yeah.
But with land, you gotta
there.
feel it, right? I think you need to feel it.
Yeah.
And so that's the plan. We want to live in a camper for a year. So it's a big camper, not as big as some.
Not as big as some. I've seen some that are gigantic, and of course I wish I had more space in here, but it's big. It has a bunk room, and it has a room for us, and all the things that we need to survive. It's
So we jumped on
small.
Craigslist and went through several options, and finally drove out to Golden and found a guy selling a camper. Several inconsistent stories about the origin of the camper, but we bought it. So we just drove to Golden, Colorado to look at the camper, and we like it.
Yeah.
We like it.
It's pretty clean. I'm pretty impressed. I mean, the carpets are dirty, but everything else is pretty clean.
He wanted $6,200 for it. We got together $5,000 in cash today, and actually we got together a little bit more with the ATM maximum daily withdrawal
on a Sunday.
On a Sunday,
the bank's not even open.
So we offered him $5,000, and that wasn't enough for him. He wanted to get closer to $6,000. So, but he is willing to deliver it, which is huge because we don't have a brake controller yet. And he's willing to throw in a spare tire, 2 brand new propane tanks. It's $100 value, and he's going to take the brake controller out of his truck
And give it to us?
Give it to us.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, did I not take it?
No.
So that's $100 worth of.
So it's worth the
Stuff.
$6,000. At that point, we'd have to buy all those.
We have to buy all those things now.
Places
As he was
go.
showing me the brake controller and where it plugs in, it actually is broken. Like he had kicked the cable out. He didn't know it. He's like, "Oh no, it looks like I kicked that cable out."
Oh no.
So there's maybe some repair to do on it, which I'm willing to do.
It's fine because we're going to buy a new one anyway.
He just ran out, just so we could test it. He ran to the store to buy a new electrical converter.
So he's been super
So he'll
accommodating.
sell me.
That's
He'll
really
give me that too,
sweet.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So with delivered, with the brake controller, with the spare tire, and with the what was the other thing? Propane.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude. And with that little plug, he'll bring it to us for $6,000 today. It's worth
I think it's worth
probably $8,000.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna do it. I haven't texted him back. I'm kind of letting him sweat, but he texted me 3 times after we pulled out.
Pulled out of
We
his
weren't even to the
house.
corner, and he texted me 3 times with his like final offer. So, and
It
it's
was a
neat.
decent deal.
Yeah,
I
good
mean,
deal.
as far as the amount of space we have, we were looking for the bunk room specifically, which, of course, when you get slides and things, we have no slides. So
It's
those
simple.
kinds of things make it a little more complicated, definitely more expensive.
Yep.
But this one was great. No slides, but the bunk room, because we have 4 kids that'll be traveling with us,
Yep.
and we just needed that kind of space. You know, not to have to be putting the dinette down every night. We have, you know, some different plans for that, but it just gives us a good amount of space.
Space is going to be a real challenge in this camper. The camper is 32 feet long. So on one hand, it's the biggest thing I've ever pulled. It's about the same weight as the van we're going to pull it with. It's going to take some learning to figure out
Yeah, I don't want to drive it.
how to drive this, how to park this. We want to spend a good amount of our time boondocking and being on dry camping and being off-grid camping.
Well, mostly so we don't have to pay, because without a job and with looking for land, so when we sell our house, I guess that's the other part of the plan we haven't really mentioned with
Right.
the whole moving thing, is we're going to be selling the house, and so that we have the money to buy the land, but that's also the money we're going to live off of. So we really want to
Yes.
keep that as minimal as possible.
Yes.
We'll need some RV sites periodically to dump our tanks and to refill water. But as much as possible, if we can boondock and not have to pay, that would really help us.
The kids are very excited.
Oh yeah.
The kids have been under every nook and cranny of this place, crawling in and out of every cabinet. We're remodeling a little, so if you can't tell, this is the camper. We've been remodeling a little, and there will be more videos about that in the future. I'm excited, but there's stuff I have to learn for the first time. I didn't know how a big rig like this gets pulled, so I had to buy a new hitch and had to go get a bunch of new wrenches that are big enough to
Right.
turn all the nuts and bolts on that hitch. And it's got a lot of complicated pieces and parts. There's water pumps, there's charging inverters, there's batteries and propane and pilot lights and a radio, and there's just a lot of pieces and parts to this thing that all work,
Yeah.
as far as we can tell. A
Which is
refrigerator.
great. I'm very excited to have those things. You know, that when we've camped before, we've had a little pop-up trailer that, you know, had 0 amenities in it, really.
No. Flat-
It had a heater, though. That was good.
Just flat places
But
to sleep.
Yeah, but basically it just gave us flat places to sleep. Here, I'm excited to have, you know, a bathroom with
That's
a shower, because my other camper, you know, we've camped for 2 weeks at a time, boondocking type style, with no showers, no water, no nothing. We had to haul water in jugs and things, and so I'm excited to have tanks that we can fill, and I am trying to make it feel a little more homey. I know it's just kind of our survival mode for the next year,
Yep. But
I
a
want it to
year,
feel like home while we're here. A year's a long time, and I want it to feel like home. You know, I want to be able to spruce up little bits of it and not just be in survival mode for a year. You know, definitely.
and there's a chance we'll end up living in this trailer
Yeah.
when we get on land until we've built a place where we can really live.
If there's no
So-
house, yeah, for sure.
We're looking at this as, what if this was our 3-year plan?
Right, our tiny home.
It would be a challenge, but it's really comfortable, and it has some large beds, and it has enough room for everyone to be.
Yeah.
Maybe not to stay all day long unless it's raining or something, but it would be
I'm sure will happen.
it would be comfortable.
I think it'll be comfortable enough. And there's lots of outdoor space to play in during good days. And of course, we're going to spend a good amount of our time looking at properties.
That's right.
You know, that's really the goal, is travel around, figure out what states we like, but definitely look at properties throughout those states and see what might really resonate with us, and a
Yeah.
place that we might want to then put down our roots.
That's going to be the plan, is drive to new places, put the camper down, and then take the van place to place, and for maybe a week at a time, just look at properties in that area. There's several areas we want to hit up. We don't know much of anything about them, but we're going to have to learn. Thanks for coming along with us on this journey. If you like this video, push the like button below, and please subscribe. That'll help you keep up to date with everything that's going on with us. And
Follow our blog at deeprootsfamily.com, where we write about the journey and get a little deeper. What is all this?
this is it. This is how the magic happens. This is how professionals make movies.
Oh yeah, super high tech.
Haven't you ever seen the behind the scenes of like Lord of the Rings or something? It's basically the same.